Hello everybody, and welcome to episode 12 of this series. For those who don't know, this video is part of a collection of videos, so make sure you check out the entire playlist by clicking the link in the top right corner. Otherwise, you may be a bit confused about what's going on. For those that are less confused, welcome back. I'm sure everyone has lost track, so in summary, we have died 301 times, we've crashed 19 times, and we've had sex with 10 different people. Our overall goal for this run was to complete the base game while only having 1 HP. Our goal for this stream was to 100% Big Mountain and then start Lonesome Road. The rules for this run are, number 1, we could not wear any armor or clothing whatsoever because it adds DT. Number 2, we could not have any companions in our party unless the game forced us to continue. Number 3, we were not allowed to use VATS whatsoever. Number 4, we had to find every location in the base game if we could reach it. And number 5, we had to have sex with everyone we possibly could. Now that the goals are set and the rules are clear, let's rock and roll. We started where we last left off, trading our gear at the sink. We fast traveled to the botanical garden to grab what we needed to upgrade the research station. We tried to get to the top area, but we needed to climb some rocks around it, so I fast traveled the Signal Hills transmitter to help us, and we crashed. After clearing that area and looting everything that we needed, we made our way to the magneto-hydraulic complex and almost got inside before we crashed again. We fast traveled back to the complex and looted what we needed, and then we went to Higgs Village to get a couple of personalities that we missed. While looting, we crashed again! Finally, we left Higgs Village, and there were 2 lobotomites nearby outside, so we got into a good sniping position and killed one of them. The other one had a shotgun though, and they got us. Oh, and don't forget, we also crashed after that as well. When we returned, we finished off the lobotomites that were in our way and went toward X2. There were 3 robo-scorpions in front, which we handled with no problem, and leveled up. The stats that we chose are on screen right now, and the perk that we chose was Intense Trainer. We put the special point into Strength. Before reaching the door, a Y-17 trauma override harness had spotted us. We ran and hid, but a lobotomite that was nearby had gotten us. So we got into a nice sniping spot and we took out the lobotomite and the Y-17 harness. Moving forward, we got what we needed from X2 and we got out of there. Heading toward the Cuckoo's Nest, we crashed again. After getting back into the game, we went inside and cleared the nest with no problem. When we went to leave, we crashed. When we returned, we went back to Higgs Village. In case you lost count, this is our 3rd time going there. We got everything that we needed, and then we fast traveled to the robo-deconstruction plant. Muggy's personality was right outside in the back of a truck, so we hopped up there to grab it, but we had gotten spotted by a Securitron and we died. So we respawned and we fast traveled back to the deconstruction plant and got Muggy. We returned to the sink and upgraded some personalities, and then we were back into Big Mountain proper to find more upgrades for them. We fast traveled to the Signal Hills transmitter and climbed atop of the roof to get the upgrade. Of course, when you pick it up, they spawn a bunch of lobotomites below us, so we couldn't fast travel out. I snuck by them and moved toward our next location, the West Train Tunnel. After reaching it, we crashed! We booted back in and we got inside of the tunnel. We took out the Securitrons that were inside and looted the place. We made our way to X13 after that. Mind you, this was the 3rd time that we were visiting this location. We fast traveled and ran inside. I had no idea if there were still scorpions outside, and I did not want to find out just yet. Inside, they were all dead, which was great. We got what we needed and took out the terrible shotgun and headed outside. We died before even killing one of them. After that, we tried the lair, and we crashed. Next, we tried the terrible shotgun again, but alas, it just wasn't potent enough and we died. Next, we tried the lair again, and we took a bit of psycho. We took one of them out before we died. On our final attempt, we tried using a stealth boy, and it worked. We ran to the perimeter fence and teleported back to the sink. We offloaded some gear and made our way toward the Y-17 medical facility. I feared that they had spawned the Mr. Orderlies inside. Turns out that they had respawned, and we had to clear it again. But this time we cleared it without any problem whatsoever. There was a back room that we didn't have access to last time because of a force field blocking our way. So we took out the force field and we went inside. I knew that there was a sterilizer glove inside of this room, and the second that you picked it up, it spawned a bunch of lobotomites that run into this room and try to attack you. But we took them out no problem. We finished looting the place and went to go leave before we crashed. When we got back into the game, we fast traveled back to the sink, and after selling our gear and upgrading some personalities, we went out to the balcony, and it is my honor to inform all of you that we crashed again. Loading back in, we went to X12 after that, which is extremely close to the sink, so we decided to walk. The facility has a stairway going down. This stairway is blocked by a force field that needs to be extinguished. Behind this force field were Y-17 trauma override harnesses waiting for me. This area was tricky to clear out on a normal playthrough, let alone this playthrough. I waited in a corner, hoping that we would get out of the caution state and become hidden. The problem was the area before the force field was so tiny, there was no possible way to become hidden. Eventually, a Y-17 harness got bored and decided to glitch through the force field and attack me. So we spawned back in and went into the other corner to get a better line of sight in case they decided to do that again. We waited for about 2 minutes to try to become hidden, but it was impossible. So we got rid of the force field, and all that was left was the legendary Y-17 trauma override harness, the Y-17 master trauma harness. The problem is, the second that you take him out, he spawns 3 more Y-17 trauma override harnesses right by the entrance. We took him out, but we were literally melee distance away from these enemies when they spawned, and we died. Once we were back, we still had to take out the master harness. I had feared that I had saved shortly after taking him out and just before they spawned the 3 enemies, but luckily I didn't, so this was best case scenario. Unluckily, the master trauma harness took us out 2 more times. Finally, I decided to hit him with mercy until he was at about 60% health, and then we dropped down the floor and hit him with a surprise attack. The lesser harnesses spawned above me, so we used a stealth boy, but when we left the pit boy, we were still in the danger status. I think it was because they were directly above me. Anyway, one of them had a tri-beam laser rifle and got us. Unfortunately, we did not quick save after taking out the master harness, so we tried it again and jumped down to get the surprise attack on them, but their health wasn't at 60% anymore and they got us. So trying that again, we jumped down and we actually shot the weapon out of the master harness's hands. The master harness went running for the weapon and I panicked and ran into a side hallway on the opposite side. From the door, we took out the master harness. After that, they spawned above us, but this was the most optimal spot in this area that I could be in. We quick saved and dropped a stealth boy. This time when we left the pit boy, we were hidden. So we looted the place and got what we needed, and we went toward the top to deal with those 3. When we reached the top of the stairwell, I decided to sneak past them, and lo and behold, the game crashed right when we reached the door. Starting to notice a pattern here. Starting the game back up, we looted the place and snuck past the 3 Y-17 trauma override harnesses that were by the doorway. Unfortunately, when we got outside, we could not fast travel, as there was a bunch of enemies all around us. Fortunately, we had a stealth boy active and the next location was super duper close, so we decided to walk. As soon as we entered the Saturnite Alloy Research Facility, our stealth boy wore off and we were in the caution status. We took out every Mr. Handy in that facility and fast traveled to Yangtze. From there, we walked toward the construction site. On our way there, we came across a sentry bot, and we frenzied the sentry and ran behind a rock, hoping that it would get itself killed with some other enemies. Instead, it came right for us and killed us. After that, we got a successful frenzy, as well as a second one on a different sentry bot, and we waited. Until we became impatient, we made a dash past them while they were busy with each other. In the construction site, there were protectrons, so we needed to be careful. We climbed up on the rocks to get a better vantage point, and we took out their combat inhibitors and snuck past them to where the loot was, and we noped out of there via the perimeter fence, teleporting back to the balcony. When we went to go inside, the game crashed! So we looted the construction site again and went back to the sink, selling everything that we didn't want and upgrading all of the personalities. We went to go talk to the think tank, and when we got to the door, we crashed. When we loaded back in, we realized that there were still a couple of upgrades that we had forgotten. So back to Higgs Village we go, folks! We got what we needed and left Higgs Village for good. Finally, We were done upgrading the sync personalities, and we were ready to start the end of this DLC. After talking to the think tank, we leveled up. The stats that we chose are on screen right now. We fast traveled to the Forbidden Dome after that. I wanted to skip the giant Robo-Scorpion fight as I didn't know if it would be possible or not, so we deactivated it with the terminal and made our way to Mobius. I wanted to get through this DLC peacefully. The battle with Dr. Mobius and the battle with the brains would be very tricky in this state, to say the least. We talked to Cutthroat's brain, and we went to leave the Forbidden Dome, but before we did, we leveled up! The stats that I chose are on screen right now, and the perk that we chose was Intense Trainer. The special point that we chose was Strength. After that, we left, fast traveled back to the sync balcony, and we crashed on arrival. When we returned, we confronted the think tank and ended this DLC peacefully. We kicked back, relaxed, and had a smoke while the credits rolled. And we crashed just before the end slide, so we had to watch them all over again. So we loaded back in, talked to the brains again, and let the credits roll again. After that, we leveled up. The stats that we chose are on screen right now. We teleported out of the Big Empty and fast traveled right to the Divide, starting the Lonesome Road DLC. We got to the Hopeville Missile Silo entrance, and it crashed. Next, we got Eddie as a companion since we had no choice, and moved forward. Eddie went to the military terminal to unlock it, and we crashed. After booting back up, we cleared all of the sentry bots and left the missile silo, and we leveled up once we left. The stats that we chose are on screen right now, and the perk that we chose was Intense Trainer, and we chose Strength for our special point. Once again, and I decided to take a break from New Vegas for the time being and switch on over to Crossout, so we ended the stream there. In total, we only died 12 times this stream, but we crashed 17 times. And once again, we did not have sex with anyone. Cutthroat did not find love in the Big Empty, and now she was going to try the Divide. Thank you all for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube and follow my Twitch. Also, don't forget to leave a comment about what you think of the run so far. I would love to hear what you have to think and say. Also, we have a Patreon page now, folks. One day I would love to make content for you fine folks full time, so every bit helps me reach that dream, as well as help me find time to make these videos and stream. Thank you all so much for watching and supporting. I hope to see all of you in the next stream or in the comment section down below. And a special thanks goes out to tobirevblackfire for sharing his talents, the folks over at EFAP for motivation, the Mitton squad for inspiration, and every one of you Twitch and Patreon subs for your continued support. You guys are the absolute best. Keep rocking and rolling, and peace out.